Hi, I'm Daniel, and this will be my review of the LG OLED55B6P smart television. And to start things off, let's go ahead and turn it on. Because one of the things you want to know is how long does it take for the television to turn on? Well, it's pretty much that quick. It's not lightning fast, but it's relatively fast. And for this TV, my kind of impressions of it, first impressions and my impressions now after having owned it for a couple weeks, is that it's a pretty amazing television. In a way, it's kind of like owning a 55-inch smartphone, because not only do you have the television, but you also have the smart functionality, and you also have apps that you can buy or actually download for free. Some of them you can get through the LG store that you can access through the television here. So we'll go through all the various aspects, but the first great aspect is picture quality. And of course, you're watching this on YouTube, so it's really hard to judge picture quality through a video like this, but I'll just kind of give you my impressions of what we got here. So let's open up a Ultra HD Blu-ray disc here. And this TV I purchased from Amazon. It's very clear to sleep. This TV I purchased from Amazon originally around the end of July for almost $3,000. It was like $2,997. But now we're in the first week or so of August, and the television has dropped down in price to about $2,497, basically $2,500. Nice thing though is that if you purchase a TV through Amazon, let's hit play here. If you purchase it through Amazon, there is a 30-day price drop guarantee that Amazon offers. And what that does for you is if the TV drops in price on Amazon or through one of their approved competitors like Best Buy, places that are reputable sell TVs, they will give you that amount back. And so we emailed them on a Sunday night, and the very next day we got an email back saying, yep, this applies, and they refunded us $500. So I originally paid $3,000 for this, got a $500 refund, and it was $2,500 roughly after that. And then of course we got some Amazon Prime points and stuff like that. But anyhow, this is The Martian playing right now. It's playing in a high dynamic range, and there's some pictures that I'll be showing you in a little bit to kind of show you what that's like. But the great thing about this TV is that it's OLED, and what OLED is it's a new display technology. Now, many of your TVs that are at Walmart or Best Buy does sell OLED televisions, but if you go to Walmart and look at a lot of their TVs there, they call themselves LED TVs, and in a way that's a little bit misleading. Really what all those TVs are, when it says it's an LED TV, it's actually an LCD television. And LCD is the same TV technology that's been around since televisions went to flat panels. There's been some other little technologies, but really a flat panel television is usually going to be an LCD television. And what that is, they call it LED, but really what LED is that's the backlight. It's behind the LCD screen, and it's providing the light to illuminate the screen. The difference is with this television, there is no backlight, because every single pixel is an LED, a red, a green, and a blue LED. And what that gives you is the ability to have absolute true black images. Not just entire images, like it's a full fade to black, but when you have black, like the black bars here, or if the black in space, if it's well mastered material, the blacks will actually be black. The LEDs will be completely off. And that gives you an amazing sense of depth with this television, because you have such great contrast. The box claims infinite contrast, and really that's true, because if your pixel is completely off, it's displaying black. It's as black as it can be. Whereas with the LCD television, they do have some tricks like local dimming and stuff like that, but in general, you're not going to get a true black with an LCD technology television, even if it's LED. Now you will be able to get better, not better than OLED, but you'll be able to get blacks close to that if you pay a lot for an LCD television. I know Samsung makes a higher end one, but really, if you are interested in the best possible contrast you can have, if you're interested in true blacks, then OLED is the way to go. Now, the advantage that LCD televisions have is that some of the better ones that do actually support the Dolby Vision HDR format, they will have higher peak brightness than the OLED televisions will have. And so that means that your brights are going to be a bit brighter than what OLED can offer, but you're not going to get that true jet black, that inky, just true black that just fades into the back. I mean, when I was playing around with this TV, I had my PC hooked up to it. I opened up Paint, just filled the whole thing with black and viewed the image, and you literally cannot tell that the television is on unless you're moving your mouse around and you can see your cursor on the screen. I mean, it's that dark, and I'll show you some pictures here to show that.
This first picture we're looking at here is the opening scene of The Martian, and it's just a starscape. And to give you an idea how black the blacks on this television are, this is an 8-second exposure on a digital SLR camera. Now, for all these pictures I'm going to be showing you, all the specs were it was taken with an 18mm focal length ISO 100 with an f-stop of 3.5. The only thing that's changing is the exposure time. But this is the title screen. This is a starscape, and keep in mind this is an 8-second exposure, and you don't see a backlight because there is no backlight. I mean, this is how amazing the contrast on this TV is. To give you an idea of the difference, this is what an 8-second exposure for my gaming monitor. I have an IPS monitor for my computer, and this is what an 8-second exposure looks like of the same scene on my computer monitor. Now, what I'll also do is I turned down the backlight as far as it would go on my monitor and took another 8-second exposure, and that's what we get. I mean, still you can see a lot of backlight. And we have to get all the way down to a 1-second exposure to get the monitor to look like this. And this is really what it looks like to my eyes when I'm watching it. But still, you can see that there's still a backlight there, and this is truly what my monitor looks like. I really wish they would make an OLED computer monitor that doesn't cost $3,000, because I play games on my TV. I'll get to that a little bit later, but I play games on it, and it's just a phenomenal image when you have that infinite contrast. Now, in comparing what high dynamic range versus standard dynamic range looks like, it's hard to do with a computer, especially on YouTube or with a monitor that is not HDR. Like what you're probably looking at this is with something that is not HDR. So what I'm having to do is I'm going to be showing you a couple images both with a long exposure and with a short exposure, and we'll compare the highlight detail and the shadow detail in each image. Here's an opening title card from The Martian. This is the sun rising behind the Martian logo, and this is a 1/10 of a second exposure on the camera. This is a high dynamic range image, and you can see the sun is a nice small point there behind the logo. Comparing it to the standard dynamic range, again a 1/10 of a second exposure, same exposure time. You can see that the whites are completely crushed in the middle. The higher dynamic range image gives you a lot more detail within that spot where the sun's at, whereas in a standard dynamic range, all that gets crushed. Now here's a 1-second exposure from the high dynamic range version of The Martian. You can see more of the details in the shadow there, and this is a 1-second exposure from the standard dynamic range opening title card for The Martian. And just to be clear, both of these, the high dynamic range version for The Martian was taken from I was playing the HDR Blu-ray, and for the standard dynamic range images, these are all coming from the standard Blu-ray version of The Martian. Now here's a picture from the canyon as it's panning by in the beginning of the movie. This is a 1-second exposure, and this is in high dynamic range. And what you're looking at here is going to be the shadow detail that you're seeing, basically the darker areas. Now here's the standard dynamic range image. You can see that there's a lot less detail in the shadows. All the blacks are crushed, and there's just a big loss of detail there. Here's a 1/10 of a second exposure, so less light coming in, but you can see in the highlights there you have good definition in the highlights. In the standard dynamic range, you're losing a little bit of the detail there in the brights. And then here's a scene where a guy's coming out of the hatch. This is the high dynamic range version, 1 second exposure. And what we're looking at here is the details that you're going to see in the darker areas. Going to the standard dynamic range version, there's a little bit less detail in the darker areas. And then going to, this is a 1/20th of a second exposure. What we're looking at here, this is the high dynamic range version. And in the center of the hatch, you can see the brightest parts, all the detail is there. You're seeing all the detail in the deepest part where it's still really bright. Going to the standard dynamic range version, again, just like with the scene of the sun, a lot of those whites get crushed. You're losing a lot of detail there, and it's just pure white. You're not getting all that detail. So that's the difference that you're going to see with a high dynamic range versus a standard dynamic range image.
So how does HDR content look? Well, I mean, it looks really good if you're sitting as close as I am to the television, but really with HDR content, you're not really going to notice the difference over 1080p unless you're sitting about 5 feet away from your television or closer. Now, if you're sitting at normal viewing distances in most living rooms, which is like 10 or more feet away, you're not really going to see the difference between 1080p and 4K. But you will see the difference on this TV with the high dynamic range video. I mean, things are just going to pop better, you're going to have better contrast, and it's just going to look better in general. So that's with, this is actually The Martian, which is playing through an Ultra HD Blu-ray player, the Samsung Blu-ray player. And so this is actually playing in Dolby Vision HDR. But it also looks good if you just play a standard Blu-ray on it. So I will get out of this now. I'll pause that, and I'll show you how responsive the TV is to switching inputs. So let's take a quick look at Netflix now. And this remote is a magic remote, or they call it the magic remote. It's a lot like a Wiimote in a way, if you're familiar with that. You can point, but you can also use arrows to move around also. It takes a little bit of getting used to the way the cursor works, but it's not really all that hard. So the first thing we'll look at, I said we'll go into Netflix, so it gets in there just that quickly. I think it might have actually been open. So let's open this back up again. Let's close Netflix down completely here. Back. There we go. Close that down. And now we're backed out of Netflix. It's going back to the last input, which was the Ultra HD player. So now we'll open it up from scratch, and you're going to see that it is going to take just a little bit longer here, but there's the Netflix popping up. And then you're in. And it actually is very quick at starting the videos to play here. Come on, there we go. So we'll just pick something here. I don't know. Pick this, and we'll see hit play, and pretty much instantly there it's starting to play. And on this television, once it gets done buffering, it's a little bit lower quality because of the streaming, but on this television, even streaming through Netflix here, once I get it to start playing again, yeah, the picture still looks really good, even streamed content. I don't know if this is an HDR. I know that Netflix does have some HDR content. In fact, let me look some of that up right now here. So let me back out of this. Okay, finally found some 4K content on Netflix. I found out I had to upgrade to their Ultra HD plan, which is $3 per month more. So I did that for the sake of this video, and there's not much content on there, but they're supposed to be getting more content. But this is one of their Crouching Tiger, Hidden Dragon movies. This is streaming in 4K. And I mean, sitting this close, it actually looks pretty good. It looks nice and vibrant. It's supposed to be an HDR image. The HDR thing on the TV didn't pop up telling me it was, but and it still looks pretty good for what's going on there. So that's Netflix. It takes a little finagling, and you got to have the right plan and a compatible TV, but it does work. So let's go back, and we'll just kind of go through here and take a look at what this TV can do. The first thing in the WebOS that's listed is the LG Content Store, and with this Content Store, this is where you can get all your various little apps for things that you might have. So I'll show you what they have here. Up here, there's just the visual content store. There's TV shows, movies, like if you wanted to get a movie here. The nice thing about this is you can select a movie through the content store and it'll tell you what it's available through. So it says that this is available on Amazon Prime, Vudu, and Google Play. Now, one thing about when it says it's on Amazon Prime, if it's available to purchase on Amazon Prime, then it'll show it here. But if I was actually click watch now on this and do Amazon Prime here, it's not actually a Prime movie. It's going to take me here and it's going to, actually it doesn't even take it to the movie on Amazon Prime. So let me navigate to that real quick. And there's the movie there, and if I click on it, it's going to say, alright, I can rent it for $5 or I can buy it for $20. So if it says it's on Prime, not necessarily the free content that's included with Prime, but that you can get it if you're willing to stream it. But at these prices, I'd be willing to just wait for it to come out on Redbox and rent it, because the actual Blu-ray quality is going to be better than streaming, even if you have a really fast internet connection. But that's that. We'll go back into the content store here. There's TV shows you can get through here. Premium here is all the premium services. So this is the services that the WebOS supports. Of course, I have Netflix and Amazon. It'll also support Fandango, Xfinity, Vudu, YouTube, GoPro, MLB, Spotify, Google Play. I think I mentioned Hulu there. And then there's other apps and games here, non-premium stuff, but stuff that you can get here. I mean, just a nice big selection of stuff here. There's a lot of various web apps, like iHeartRadio's on there, Pandora's on here somewhere. We have that installed on the TV here. But I'll just go through this, and you can pause the video if you want to see if something you want is on there. Whoops. Okay, there's that. Next page. And the next page. And so that's what's available through there. And then there's my page, I guess, if right, that'd be what we have installed on the TV right here. So Amazon, Weather Nation, iHeart, Pandora, YouTube, and Netflix. So that's the App Store. A little sparse. One app, I'm going to get to this, but I wish that Xbmc had an app for on here. I'll get to why in a little bit here. So there's Netflix, of course, Amazon Prime, Pandora. So you can go on here and you can listen to anything Pandora that you want. YouTube, which is pretty quick. So let's see here. Library, I think this. Let's see, where's my videos? My videos. Okay, so yeah, here's some of my videos on here, including yep, there's my unboxing video of this television here. So if you haven't seen that one yet, well, no, I'm not actually gonna, no, there's an ad. There we go. So yeah, there's my unboxing video. If you haven't seen it yet, you can watch that one here. Go back here, back, go home, 4K video works. I mean, it's kind of like like I said, it's like a smartphone or a computer. What else on here? The Nation, iHeartRadio. There's a web browser on here, so you can surf the web from your convenience of your television. So there's all these things here. Let's see here. You can try going to LG.com. Enter. And it works pretty well. If you want to look at the TV here, Well, there you go. You can just click on that. And the web browser seems to work fairly well. Let's see. Click on this again. Yeah, click on that part. Alright. And it'll come up here, and then this is the website you go to if you want to see all the wonderful specs and add stuff on here. Now, some of the more interesting parts for some of you people here. Photo and video. So, what I have right now is I have this hooked up to both my PC, which is wireless, and I also have it hooked up to a portable hard drive here. This is a USB 3.0 hard drive, and this does actually support USB 3.0. And it looks like as I was fiddling around with that, it kind of jostled something there. But I'll go to the computer here, so photo and video. Now this interface is a bit clunky. I wish that it would be something a little bit better. And there's a program out there for home theater PCs called Xbmc. It's a really great front for if you have movies on your hard drive, all your music and stuff like that. A nice, great application that sorts it, and it looks really professional, really polished. Whereas this, there's some different views here. You can view it by, whoops, that's my external USB. Go back there. So for my PC, you can view it by folders, or just all your photos, all your music and video. But really, the sorting, if you just hit photos, is all photos. You're going to be presented with, potentially thousands of photos. But you can look at it by folder here. So if you know your folder structure pretty well, but still, it's not as nice as some other programs that might require a little bit of setup, but it works pretty well here. And there's, let's see here. And so this is the slideshow portion. This is streaming from my computer in my bedroom, my gaming computer. It's streaming wirelessly right now. And so it's fairly responsive while you're going through your videos. I mean, maybe leaves a little bit more to be desired, but this is streaming wirelessly here. Now, the really nice thing that I was wondering about is how will it stream high definition movies over a wireless connection. I know my home theater PC, I had to set up a buffer for it to work smoothly, but this one actually does work fairly well here. We'll go into video by folder. I have some videos in my queue here, and these are all videos that I actually do own. I don't pirate anything. I don't do the whole file sharing thing. These are all movies that I purchased on Blu-ray. I just like to copy them onto my hard drive. I don't compress them at all. I do a one-to-one bit perfect copy, make them into a MKV file, and that way I have the full quality. I don't have to worry about my kids scratching a disc, and I also don't have to take the time to go through the menus. So here's an example. Here's Star Wars. This is a Blu-ray that's streaming through my home theater computer. So it's going to buffer a little bit there, and it'll start playing. I'll get to some portion of the movie here. It's going to buffer a little bit more. And you can see it here. It's going to be playing. I'll let it play for a few moments here. But you can see that it's not stuttering, it's not pausing, but it's playing nice and smoothly here. Oh, and here's the big Han Solo reveal here. Is there? Ooh, who's that? Yay, it's a really old Harrison Ford. All right, so that works pretty well there. There's other movies I have there, but it will stream over a wireless connection if you have a good wireless connection in your home. And of course you can do music and everything like that also. I'll back out a little bit more here. Here's my external USB drive, and when I click on that, it's going to identify that as USB 3.0, so this TV does support USB 3.0, which is a very nice thing. And here's some, let's see here. let's look at those same photos I was looking at on my home theater PC. I have all my pictures backed up on here, if I can find it. Pictures 2010. And it's going to queue all those up here. But let's see if it's a little bit more responsive playing directly from a hard drive. There we go. Got a different picture here. So it works pretty well. It looks like it is a little bit more responsive if you have it hooked up to a hard drive through the USB 3.0. So here's some more larger pictures. I took this with a DSLR. These are about 8 megabyte files here. I mean, they're really huge files. So it does take a little bit longer to load them, but it does load up. And it does have a focus function where you can zoom in, get really close to your pictures. So there it is in, like, I guess the full size there. And you can use the magic remote to move around what you're looking at on the picture there. And of course you can also play video just like on the wireless connection, but you can view it on your hard drive that you have hooked up. Okay, in regards to file formats this television can play. MKV, it seems to handle just fine. We'll go, here's just a little Dolby trailer that I'd downloaded for my home theater PC, but works just fine with MKV files. And I see there's some M2TS files on here, and that seems to be working just fine on here. Yep, volume works on there. I have the volume turned down just for the purposes of this video. One thing I did notice is that it will not play ISO files. So if you have a bunch of ISO files, or you're going to have to convert those over to MKV, because the TV, I tried playing an ISO file on it and the TV just doesn't recognize it as a playable file. As far as music, let's see how it works here. I have my music normally ripped either to high quality MP3 or to WAV formats. Wait, maybe I shouldn't be in the picture view right now. So let's back all the way out here. Other things there's internal camera storage. This is kind of for the TV. These are, you can see captured images. There's none of those. I'm not sure what the camera is. I don't think pretty sure the TV shoot a photo or video on camera app. I'll have to see what the camera app is all about. And then there's some sample photos that come with the TV that it'll either use for a screensaver or just to throw up there. So the next one here. We'll look at music, see what kind of formats it'll play here. I haven't really tried this one yet. And music. Let's see here. Okay, so it's seeing the WAV files, and we'll see if it'll play a WAV file. Hopefully it will. I mean, it's such a basic thing here. Okay, yep, it's playing the WAV file just fine. I should have an MP3 file somewhere around here. Okay, finally found some MP3 files here. And, well, yeah, it plays MP3 files just fine there. Ah, here's the camera app. So, alright, what does this camera app do? Okay, is there actually a camera on here? Connect an ANVC 550. Okay, so I guess if you have this ANVC 550 camera, then you can take camera or pictures with the TV. I don't know why you'd want to do that, maybe so that NSA can see you in your underwear watching TV. Yep, I still got that up there. There's live TV. I don't have an antenna hooked up, so can't really show you that. There's a user guide here that shows you all the wonderful little things that you can do with the TV. Multi-view. This is one feature of the TV where if you want to watch two things at once, you can do that. So let's see here on this one. There we go. Okay, so let's tell this one that I want to be Samsung, and this one. Okay, so it looks like you can't really do streaming and watch something at the same time. So if you have live TV or something hooked up, component maybe, then you can watch two things at the same time. So now, alright, here's a movie playing on one side, and here I don't have an antenna hooked up, so that's not playing on this side. So it is possible, but it's only through the inputs that you have available on the TV. Unfortunately, you can't stream something, it seems like. And also, let's see, channel group, no. Yep, so you can't stream something and watch something on input. It's only a couple of inputs that you're going to be able to do the multi-view with. Maybe if they provide a firmware update in the future, they might get that working, but I don't know. Alright, so there's an overview of all the features on the TV. Sound-wise, the TV sounds pretty impressive. I can turn it up here, but I mean, you're going to be listening through a camera, through your computer speakers, so you're not really going to hear the audio quality. But I've heard crummy audio from other flat panel televisions, but the speakers in this TV actually have impressed me quite a bit, even though I mean, there's no sound bar on the bottom, but it does actually have a really good, I mean, actually very impressive sound, considering that it's a television where you can't see the speakers. The sound is nice. You can hear the audio just well. You can hear the dialogue just well. And it can go plenty loud. So no complaints there, but normally people who will buy a TV like this probably have a nice sound system that they're going to use, and they're not going to use the television speakers anyway. But if you are going to be using just the TV speakers, I'd recommend just listening to the TV itself before investing in a sound bar, because you might just be able to get away with just what the TV has to offer. It also has audio adjustments and auto room correction to get better sound quality than yeah, it's like room correction. It gets you better sound quality so that it works better for the room that it's in. So I'm not going to geek out with all the well, I'll go through a little bit of the settings here, but I'm not going to go through like a calibration or anything on the TV. But with all the settings here, yeah, it's going to be really boring. So if you can look at all the settings, I mean, if you want to see what the settings are, you can go to the LG website and you can find the online manual that'll tell you all the settings that you can do with the television, all the things you can do. If you do have like an actual, like you're a power user, you have a calibration kit. This does have in the picture mode, settings, under I believe expert controls, no, not there. I know that there's an advanced menu in here, buried in here somewhere, where you can actually do an ISF calibration if you so desire. And there's settings you can look at online. I haven't actually downloaded any of those, or I actually haven't tried to apply any of those settings. The TV looks really great just as is. Gaming wise, I did hook up my gaming computer to the TV and played some games on it, and it's very impressive for games. It has a game mode. The lag, it didn't seem to bother me. I noticed that there's maybe a tiny bit, but it's not really bad. But one concern people have with OLED televisions is that they can have burn-in, but the these TVs do have a way to get rid of that burn-in, which is really nice. The question I got asked most from my unboxing video is, have I noticed any screen burn-in, or have I noticed any image retention? Well, this is a game that I like to play, 7 Days to Die. You can find it on Steam. It's $25. It's a great game. I highly recommend it if you're into crafting survival. It's kind of like Minecraft with really great graphics. But this game is one that I play on this TV. I've played it for probably 3 or 4 hour long stretches, and I haven't noticed any image retention from the game. The places where you would notice image retention from this game is on the parts where basically the heads-up display is showing you information about what's going on in the game. Pretty much where you'd expect image retention to happen in this game is where the heads-up display is always on there, where it never goes away. And for this game, it's going to be this bottom toolbar right here, and it's going to be your health bars over here. These things, whether you go into the inventory or anything like that, they're always there. They don't move. I mean, the numbers change, but the little guy running there and the little cross symbol there, that doesn't move. This moves a little bit, so I won't watch that, but what I'm going to do is we're going to zoom in really close to these down here. Then I'm going to display some gray, basically a flat gray pattern. I'm also going to show you some red, green, and blue patterns, and we'll see if we notice any sort of image retention from this game. Alright, so first I'll focus in on this box here. We'll see if there's any sort of burn-in with the box. Alright, so here's with a, this isn't white, this is a slightly gray pattern. A little more of a gray pattern. Even darker gray. So I didn't notice anything there. Now, of course, this is a darker box around here, and whoops. What we're looking at is this box right here, this outline, and I didn't notice anything there. But now let's go see if something that's a bit brighter is possibly causing burn-in. All right, so same thing again. We'll look at some colors. So there we are. Haven't noticed any sort of image retention on this game. And if you do happen to have image retention, I guess if you're watching a single program, you leave your TV on for 8 hours straight, watching a news channel or something like that, you might get their little bug burned in at the bottom corner of your screen potentially. But the way that you would rectify that is you can go into the menu, you go into all settings, you go to picture, LED panel settings, and there is a clear panel noise option. This is something where the TV will basically take about an hour to complete this, so you might want to do it right before going to bed or something like that. But what this will do is the TV will look at everything on the panel, see if there's anything burned in on the screen, and it'll correct it for you. And I've actually heard very good reports that this does actually work very well at clearing that noise. So in my personal experience, I mean, a lot of people think, oh, it's OLED, so if you play a game for 5 minutes, you're going to have burn-in. Well, no, I've played this game for hours on end. On this particular TV, I've probably played this game 10 to 20 hours so far, like not one session all straight, but in total, various sessions. But I haven't noticed any burn-in with this guy down here, any burn-in here, and so it's not like you're going to break your TV by playing a game for a few minutes. I've played this game for hours and haven't noticed any sort of burn-in, and even if you do have some sort of burn-in, the TV does have a way of correcting for that so that it's really not an issue. It's not something that you have to worry about. I mean, maybe if you're going to use this TV in an airport to display flight arrivals so that it's displaying the same thing all day, every day, then yeah, you'll probably have some issues with that. But for normal use, even for gaming use, you're not going to have an issue unless maybe you're playing for 12 hours straight every single day, and even then there's ways the TV can mitigate that for you. So overall, I'm very happy with the TV. I've had it for about a month and a half at this point and haven't had any sort of issues with it. Done a lot of gaming on it and haven't had any sort of burn-in issues. We've watched a lot of Amazon, a lot of Netflix, and the only time we ever have an issue is if our cable internet goes down or anything like that. But as far as the TV goes, no problems. I really like it. My wife really likes it. Some of the reasons she gave that she likes it is that it's a good size to the wall, but also she likes that the remote is very easy to use. It's nice and intuitive. You can easily find what you're looking for on the menu here. And she said one downside is the remote's so easy that even our kids have figured out how to use it pretty quickly. So whatever that's worth. But overall, very good television. Is it worth $2,500? For me, I think so. I mean, I don't have any buyer's remorse or anything about buying this TV. I really enjoyed it. I've enjoyed playing games on it, and I'll continue to enjoy playing games and watching movies and even streaming and just everyday TV applications on it. So whether or not you think it's worth that, that's up to you. Currently the price is $2,500 as of this video, but as the technology matures, it is going to drop down. So if you have an opportunity to buy an OLED television, or maybe even in the future once OLED monitors become reasonably priced, yes, definitely go out and get one, because the revolution of the OLED display technology it's there. I mean, this is a true leap forward in display technology. It's leaps and bounds ahead of LED backlit televisions. It's on par, probably a little bit, I'd say a little bit better than plasmas. I haven't owned a plasma television, but I know that the true blacks of OLED will actually beat the very dark blacks of a plasma. And it also uses less power, it's thinner. I mean, this television it's not very thick at all. So overall, very pleased with this television. I hope that this review was informative for you, and if it was, please like the video, and thanks for watching.